Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today's video, which is probably going to be the last time that I use my BH Cosmetics Turquoise for December eyeshadow palette. I really go back and forth on these palettes. They are such good quality, but because they're small, I forget about them and they get lost in my collection. And I really don't want to hold on to things that don't get used. I would rather, even though they're great quality and I want to selfishly keep them for myself, I would rather pass them on to somebody else who will really use and appreciate them. So, I don't know. I pretty much decided to declutter it, but then I used it again and I was like, oh, it's so good. So maybe I'll change my mind. I don't know. But this is what I expect to be the final look using this palette. If you'd like to see how I did it, then just stick around. If you're new to my channel, I'm a little bit dorky, but my name's Rachel and I'm a homeschooling stay-at-home mom who loves to play with colorful eyeshadow. I upload about 3 videos a week, all kinds of eyeshadow related videos, palette collections, tours, palette bingos, tutorials, lots of things. If you're interested in seeing more on your timeline, I do hope you'll consider liking and subscribing. So this is my last time using the turquoise palette. The first time I used it, I did a very blue halo eye sort of thing with these 2 shades right here. This time I want to play in these darker tones and I want to use this gold shimmer. I've already primed my eyes using the Glam Light Icing Primer, and I'm going to start by taking a blending eye brush from e.l.f. and I want to grab the shade Ambitious. There's a lot of kick up in the pan, but BH does such a good job with their dark brown mattes. Like if you have the Blueberry Muffin palette, you'll know what I mean. Those brown mattes in there are fantastic. So kick up in the pan honestly does not bother me. I'm a little more annoyed by fallout on the face, and I'm even more annoyed by a formula that doesn't perform well. So if I can have a great formula like this and have a bit of kick up in the pan, it's not a big deal. I'm not even kidding. Look at this chocolate brown color. It's possibly the best brown matte I have in my entire collection. I'm going to take a smaller and more flat blending brush and grab the shade Friendly. And I'm going to use this to blend and buff out the edges of the brown. So I place it right on top of the brown color and then work it up towards the brow bone. It'll just transition it into my skin tone. You know, I have really gone back and forth about keeping these birthstone palettes. I've decided to declutter probably all of the ones that I have. And it's just like, they have some really great shadows in them, they really do. But they're so small, I forget that they exist. I forget to use them, and I don't like really big palettes, and I also don't like really small palettes because they just get lost or forgotten about. And I have so many beautiful palettes at this point. I would rather grab a larger palette that has a good color story, and maybe, you know, grab 1 or 2 palettes for an accompanying shimmer or pastel to blend out or something. But these little guys, they're, I don't know. I really go back and forth on them because they're such good quality. I do like them, but they're not very varied just because they're small. I mean, they're varied within the fact that they are small. Like this one has 2 blues, 2 browns, a gold shimmer, a peach shimmer. Like it does have some nice selections within just a few shades. But I don't know, I forget about them. They are not getting used. They're not, even as great as they are, they're not getting used. If I could pull my favorite 1 or 2 shadows from each of these palettes and put them in their own palette, that would be fine. But I'm not going to do that because that would destroy the palette. I'd rather sell it to somebody who really wants it and will appreciate it for what it is, and then I can use my many other palettes. I don't want to destroy a palette just to keep 1 or 2 shades because I do have 1 palette that's got some singles in it, like 1 magnetic palette, and I'll be honest, it doesn't get used. I want to take the shade Good Vibes and put that on my inner corner crease, so I'm going to take a smaller pencil brush, dip into that shade, and then I'll put that right here, just as a pop of blue in this inner area, and then I'll blend it out towards the brown matte, but don't overlap them too much because I don't want them, like I don't want the brown to really affect the blue, I just want them to meet and then blend into each other a little bit. Taking that other small pinch blending brush and working these edges of the blue. I'm not taking any new product because I don't want to add brown over here, I'm just taking it clean. And just going back and forth, working the edges a little bit. Then where the blue meets the brown, I have color switched my brush and I'm going back and forth very gently, only at that small intersection. I'm not dragging a lot of blue to the brown. I'm not dragging a lot of brown to the blue. I really want them to just melt into one another, but they're not going to blend perfectly because they're blue and brown. They look good together, but they're not going to blend perfectly. So I have to work it until it gets to a point where I'm happy and then let it go. And I think that's pretty good. Now it's time for shimmer. For this gold shimmer, I'm going to take a flat C or shader brush. The shadow is called Wise. It is a very, very nice yellow gold shimmer. I used to have the Weekend Festival palette from BH Cosmetics. I decluttered that one quite a while ago because I hardly used it at all. But there was one yellowy shimmer in that palette. I'm going to spray this. That shimmer made it hard to declutter because it's such a beautiful and just really a remarkable yellow shimmer. And this one for me is just as good. I mean, look at that. This is going to go the whole lid space from the inner corner. Going to kind of cut it against the blue there and then blend it out towards the brown. Such a good gold shimmer. Such a good gold shimmer. It's like a true gold. It's not vintage, it's not rosy, it's not bronzy. It's a very beautiful gold shimmer and it works like a dream. With the blending brush that I used to place down the dark brown, I'm not taking additional product, but I'm just tapping it along the place where the mattes meet the shimmers, because that helps carry a little bit of matte onto the shimmer and vice versa, and it just makes it less of a stark line of contrast, not only between the colors, but also between the formulas. It really is kind of a subtle thing to do, but I find that it makes a big difference. Now, isn't that nice? Look at this gold shimmer. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful. I'm so torn about decluttering these palettes because they really are great, but they're not getting any use, and there's no reason to have them if they don't get used. Now I want to use the turquoise shade on my entire lower lash line. I'm going to take a small pencil brush to do this. I'm going to dip into the pan and then spray the brush because, as always, it gives me more control and a bit of a higher shine. And I'm going to start that in the inner corner and then work it down. This is another really good shimmer. Really nice. I'm going to take a smudger brush and take the dark brown matte. Where is my smudger brush? The dark brown matte called Ambitious, and put that just in the outer corner here on top of the shimmer. I don't always like it when there's a disconnect between the lower lash line color and everything that's on the lid space, so I often will carry the outer lid color onto the lower lash line corner, the outer corner, just to sort of tie it all together a bit more. On my waterline, I'm going to use this creme gel liner from ColourPop in the shade Big Splash. I was going to use, my favorite liner from ColourPop is like a bright metallic marigold, and it would work so beautifully with this gold shimmer, but I decided that I wanted the lower lash line to be entirely blue. And I really like this Big Splash color. ColourPop used to have a creme gel liner called Prance, and it was an incredible medium toned blue shade, but it's been discontinued for quite some time. If they ever come back with it, I'll probably grab one. There you go. That is pretty much the eye look. I'm gonna go off camera, finish up the other side, throw on some liner, clean up the little bit of yellow shimmer fallout that I have on my face, and show you how it all turns out. Okay guys, here's the finished look. I think it's really beautiful. I think each of these birthstone palettes actually has like one of the best versions of their own shade per palette. If I could just pull my favorite shades from each of these palettes and make my own little birthstone magnetic palette, I would absolutely do it. But as it stands, I am so torn about if I should get rid of these. I decide to, and then I use them again, and I'm like, oh man, it's so good. But I have great shadows everywhere. I don't know. I'm really torn. I'm planning on passing this along again at the time of filming. We'll see if I change my mind. But this is most likely the final look using this palette. So thank you very much for hanging out with me. On my lips, I'm wearing the Burt's Bees lip shimmer in the shade Caramel. And I did a little bit of winged eyeliner and some mascara, face highlighter, and that's everything. I think the look is beautiful. I think the shadows are incredible. I hope BH Cosmetics doesn't die entirely. I know they've been bought by Makeup Revolution and no one's heard boo since. Anyway, it's a great formula and it would be sad to see it die off. Thank you very much for hanging out with me and for clicking on my video. I'm sorry I'm a little bit chaotic in this outro, but you know, that's just me sometimes. Remember to like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I hope you're having a lovely day and I will see you again in my next video. Bye! Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm back.